Hello everyone, you are on the Player Review Team channel. Today we will take a look at the Norwegian rock from Manchester for over 1 million coins plus, as well as the Argentine legend for under 1 million coins. What unites these guys is not only a roughly similar price tag, but also the fact they can play as forwards. But is either of them worth your attention? Let's talk about it now. As always, you'll see plenty of highlights and goals, so you definitely won't be bored. Make way for the young, which means we start with Erling Haaland, who has a unique body type at 195 centimeters and 5+5 stars. Various sites recommend giving Erling engine, but he will also look great on basic chemistry style. As they say, tested personally. In playstyles, it would be nice to replace the golden power shot with finesse, add technical and trickster, but who are we to give advice to Electronic Arts? By the way, it would also be nice to replace the golden quickstep with golden rapid, since the card was not given lengthy, but if we drop the fantasies, we can note excellent pace. True, only after speed boost. As we remember, Haaland has Trivela, which means in any such one-on-one, you can shoot a Trivela with perfect timing, since opponents often pull out the goalkeeper. And if you frown upon this mechanic or simply do not want to master it, Power Shot will come to the rescue, which is useful in a similar situation. As skeptical as we may be about this shot, it's worth admitting Power Shot is still effective not only inside the box, but also around it. On the other hand, inside the box, the Power Shot is of minimal use. Why charge up a Power Shot when you can just poke it under the keeper? Besides the benefit of Trivela for a low-driven shot, it's worth once again noting how scripted the low-driven is. And here's another confirmation of our words. Considering the 5-star weak foot, Erling will consistently slot such shots into the far corners. Although in this particular case the ball didn't go into the corner, it still calmly pierced the keeper. Every now and then, the silver finesse may come in handy, at least inside the box. But again, why use it when you have a golden low-driven shot? And as if to contradict those words, here's a goal from outside the box, with his right foot no less. But how often does that go in? Of course not often. Because even when coming in perfectly at a 45-degree angle, Erling will not consistently land his silver finesses. However, this way you can earn more corners. And you know what Haaland does on corners? Exactly. He stylishly humiliates the defense using unique animations. His huge height, aerial, and more importantly acrobatic allow him to win almost every cross from the corner. Or they allow you to use Haaland as a classic target forward to head it down to teammates. But ideally, you want to play him like this. Send a pinged pass and take the ball with the first touch, then a quick turn using press proven and quick step into open space. And from there, his long legs and excellent set of shooting play styles come into play. Here's a great example of the benefit of press proven in a clash with Van Dijk, who couldn't push Haaland off from behind. On the other hand, there was also this moment in the box where Van Dijk roughly hacked down Erling, but the referee apparently had a trash can instead of a heart. Be that as it may, Erling often calmly wins the ball back and consistently comes out on top in almost every duel. Of course, with this body type, he's not the most pleasant to handle. At times Haaland feels a bit clumsy and slightly sluggish, but only slightly. And finally, we want to note the unique penalty animation, which is always nice to watch. Time to sum up. As you understood, the card is more than playable, but will probably be useful only for Manchester City fans or Haaland fans personally. If we drop the emotions from his acrobatic shots from the corner of the pitch, the card clearly lacks golden rapid or lengthy acceleration. Don't get me wrong, Erling will break away, but only after triggering speed boost. Instead of power shot, finesse would be better, but it is what it is. Overall, you can safely skip this SBC, because even Ginola, whom we weren't too fond of, will be more interesting. Not to mention Kaká or especially Rooney. And frankly, we would rather build Puskás than Haaland. We remind you that detailed ratings for Erling and Maradona will be waiting for you tomorrow on our Twitter. And since we've mentioned Diego Armando, let's talk about him. Maradona has his own unique body type at 165 centimeters and 5+5 stars. For chemistry style, we of course recommend Hawk. In traits, we can only note the lack of trickster because everything else is in place, though a golden low-driven shot wouldn't hurt either. Unlike Erling, Diego can also play on the wing, which can be useful when switching formations. So let's run through Maradona, or rather, watch him run down the wing in this episode. Armando has rapid, so speed boost isn't mandatory, though it's desirable. As you can see, his pace is fine, but you can't call him truly fast, especially for a forward role. So if you still have an evolution to convert him into a cam, now is the time to activate it. Of course, only if you're interested in this card at this stage. At the same time, the Argentine has a working, albeit short, speed boost, but what works even better are his long shots, including Trivela without the playstyle. Again, the only place where the Trivela trait might help is in the box when doing a low-driven shot into the far post, to see fewer shots hit the post like this one. But as already mentioned, it is what it is. Or rather, isn't. On the plus side, he has a golden R1 dribble, which helps sneak into the box for that same low-driven shot. Here's another silver low-driven shot that looks more like a golden one. Just look at that ball speed. But Maradona's favorite shot is finesse. Again, Armando has first touch, which lets him instantly go from receiving the ball to shooting. And let's not forget the usefulness of corner routines for this card. You can quickly lose your marker with speed boost and sharply shoot with either foot into the far post. As we remember, the Argentine has a short and unique body type. But honestly, the left stick dribbling isn't perfect, so you'll have to get used to it. And finally, the passing. Diego can deliver perfect long balls in one touch thanks to his incisive pass. So if you can make him a cam, that would be the best choice. Or if you play with a false 9, this could also be your option. Although I doubt many of our viewers actually play with a false 9. Well, let's sum up. As you know, this Diego Armando card was released a while ago, so it's a bit late for an SBC release. Still, if you are a fan of the legend and don't have some top evolution, you can safely build this card, especially if you can make him a cam. But personally, we like Puskás and Rooney much more. And yes, you can use Maradona on the wing, but strangely enough, he will be slightly lacking in speed and agility, so we don't recommend it. By the way, we really like the new Zico card. We can safely recommend him both as a cam and as a central midfielder in a midfield 3. If you have any questions, write them in the comments, we will try to respond quickly. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss interesting reviews. Thanks for watching until the end and see you in the next videos.